Hello and welcome to another video. Let's solve for the real values of x and y if xy equals 64 and log to base x of y plus log to base y of x equals 5/2. So we have a system of equations. So the first equation is we have xy equals 64. That's equation 1. Now, equation 2, we have log to base x of y plus log to base y of x equals 5/2. And that's equation 2. Okay, now I'm going to start with equation 2. Okay, now we can see that in equation 2, we have log to base x of y plus log to base y of x equals 5. So let's recall, we're going to use change of base. Now, recall that log to base y of x, okay, equals 1 over log to base x of y, okay? So which means this equation, I can rewrite the equation to be log to base x of y plus 1 over log to base x of y equals to 5/2. That's equation 2. Now, this is when we can now choose a letter from the alphabet, okay, or in the alphabet to represent log to base x of y. So let's k, okay, equals log to base x of y. Now the equation will be k plus 1 over k equals 5/2. Now, to write this as a quadratic equation in k, now I'll first multiply, I'm going to multiply the entire equation by, I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 2k. Okay, so multiplying this equation by 2k, we're going to have 2k multiplied by k. This will be 2k squared. 2k multiplied by 1 over k. Okay, this will be 2 equals, okay, this will be 2k multiplied by 1 over k. That will be 2. Okay, equals 5/2 multiplied by 2k. Then this will be 5k. All right, so then we can now have 2k squared, okay, minus 5k plus 2 equals 0 as the new equation. All right, so this is where we can now what? We can now use what we call factorization method. So I'm going to do factorization method. I'm going to use factorization method in this case. So this will be 2k squared negative 4k minus 1k plus 2 equals 0. So that this will be 2, if you divide 2k squared by 2k, that will be k, okay, minus, now negative 4k divided by 2k, this will be minus 2. Then this will be minus 1, parentheses, k minus 2 equals 0. So we have 2k minus 1 multiplied by k minus 2 equals 0. All right, so let's get the values of k. Let's get the values of k. So to get the values of k, so we first set 2k minus 1 equals 0 to get the first value of k. And also, we're also going to set k minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so that way we can also get the value of the second value of k. So the first value of k will be 1/2, and the second value of k will be 2. So it's a very simple question. All right, so now to get the values of x and y, the real values, okay, so then let's recall. Now here we have k to be equals to log to base x of y. So we have k equals to log to base x of y. So which means now for case number 1, we have k to be equals to 1/2, okay? So which means when we have 1/2 equals to log to base x of y, okay, this will be equals to x raised to the 1/2, okay, x raised to the 1/2 equals to y. So which means y equals root x. Now let me box this. This will be equation 3. That's equation 3. So I'm going to use this to solve for the values of x and y, because because we got two values of k. So it means we're going to get two values of x and y, and the two values must be real values. Okay, all right. So now let me substitute this. That's root x for y in equation 1. Let's not forget that with our equation 2, okay, we're able to solve equation 2 to get two different two values of what? Of k, after we represent log2 base x of y with letter k. All right, so substitute root x for y in equation 1. So we have equation 1 to be xy equals 64. So this will be x multiplied by root x equals 64. Now I can write this as a basic sort to be root x squared times x, okay, equals 64. So that this will be root x cubed equals 4 cubed. 64 equals 64. So to get rid of the square root, so I'm going to square both sides. So squaring both sides, okay, we're going to have squaring both sides, we're going to have square of x cubed equals square of 64. Okay, so square of x cubed, square of root x cubed, that will be x cubed equals, this will be 4 raised to the third power, raised to the power of 2. Now, I can make the power on both sides, the powers on both sides to be equal. So what I will do is I will switch the power, in this case, on the right hand side. So this will be x cubed equals to 4 raised to the power of 2, okay, then exponent 3. All right, so now they have equal powers on both sides. So that means the powers of what? That is when we when we find the cube root of both sides, of course, this will reduce to x equals to 4 raised to the power of 2, and that's what? 16. So x equals 16. The value of x is 16. Okay, after we substitute root x for y in equation 1. So let's get the value of y. Let's not forget that this is the case when the value of k is 1 over 2. All right, so now let's find the value of y. Now let's calculate y. So we have xy equals 16. Now xy equals 64. xy equals 64. So we have 16 multiplied by y equals 64. So if we divide both sides by 16, now the value of y will be 4. So which means x equals 16, y equals 4. Okay, we can also use this. We can also use this equation. Now, because x is 16, so we can just write y equals square root of 16, and that will be 4. So the value of y is 4 when x is 16. Okay, now case number 2. That is when the value of k equals 2. So k equals 2, and we know that k equals log to base x of y. So we have log to base x of y equals 2. Then this will be y equals x squared. So let's call this equation 4. This is equation 4. So I'll again substitute what I got for y in this case. Okay, I'm going to substitute x squared for y. Okay, in what? Equation 1. Okay, so it's the same process. All right, so substitute x squared for y in equation 1. We have equation 1 to be xy equals 64. Now, y equals x squared. So which means we have, this is going to be x multiplied by x squared equals 64. So this would be x cubed equals 64. X cubed equals 64. Okay, so now I can taking the cube roots, okay, of both sides, or on both sides. On both sides. So we have the cube root of x cubed and the cube root of 64. So this will be x equals to 4. So now the value of x is what? The value of x is 4 when the value of k is equals 2. So which means the value of y will be 16. Now let's find out. Now we have here that y equals to what? 6 equals to x squared. So which means you can then say that from y equals x squared, okay, we have the value of x to be 4. So which means it follows that y will be equals to 4 raised to the power of 2. And 4 raised to the power of 2 is 16. So which means x equals to 4 when y equals 16. So for case 1, okay, we have x to be 16, then y to be 4. Real values, let's not forget. Then for case 2, we have x to be 4, and then y equals 16. And we've come to the end of this tutorial. The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. Bye-bye.